We got 2 million views on Reddit, so your boy had to make a video. So if you click this thing, you bricked your Steam Deck, or you want to know how to fix your brick Steam Deck, and if you are a naughty boy like your boy, you didn't back up your BIOS. But don't trip, I figured it out. There was actually a couple Reddit posts that I had to dig through, and it actually shows you exactly what to do, but it's actually not very good instructions because you have to use their hex stuff, but we're gonna get into that. Don't trip, we're gonna get into it. So if you bricked your BIOS, whether you were overclocking and you flew way too close to the sun, I'm gonna get that DRAM overclock. I'm gonna figure it out, and then I'm gonna post a video about it and show you guys how to do it properly. I didn't do it properly. I bricked my Steam Deck, but I did fix my brick Steam Deck. So I'm gonna show you how to do that with a copy of your BIOS and without a copy of BIOS. I'll show you how to edit it through hex. So let's go ahead and let's get into the video and let's try to fix your Steam Deck. This is the CH341A, and this is what you're gonna need. And then you also need this right here, which is a 1.8 volt adapter. This is the SOIC8 Clip, and this is just a bridge for the 1.8 volt to the clip. And I'm gonna show you how to assemble this. So you can get this thing on Amazon. I'll link it in the description, and it's gonna go together just like this. So you're gonna have these levers. These levers lock everything into place. If you see this jumper right here, and it's in this position, just like as you see it, don't touch it. Leave it as is. It should come like this. All right. Secondly, you're gonna take your 1.8 volt adapter. So you see it says it right there, and you're gonna go ahead and plug that thing into the slot, making sure you're in these 4 holes on the far right side away from the lever. You're gonna plug that in just like that, and then you're gonna pull this lever, make sure it's flat, and you're gonna pull this lever across like so. It's gonna look like that. Cool. Now you'll notice there's another lever up top, and that is for this clip, and this is the one that attaches to your SOIC8 clip. And what it's going to do is you're going to see numbers down the side, 1 through 4, 8, 5 through 8. And all it's going to mean is you want this first pin right here, the one that's technically on the 1 slot, to go in this top corner right here. Slide that bad boy in like so. And just like earlier, you're going to pull that lever down. Now everything's locked in. Okay, so when it comes to the clip, on the clip, what you're going to want to do is where this red ribbon part is, that is going to be your 1 slot right there. So this, where this red ribbon comes in, this is your 1 slot, and then you're going to plug this in to your 1 slot like so. So notice that's 1, just like that. With that said, your 1 slot is going to be this same red ribbon cable on the end of the clip. So be mindful, be aware of where this red ribbon is. This is signifying where this 1 slot is going to be.
Have a backup of your BIOS, you can skip this part. But if you don't, all links will be listed below. In my GitHub, download F7A0115 BIOS. Next, download the As Programmer 1.41 zip file. Next, download free hex editor and install it. I highly suggest using this one. If you use another one, the tutorial video might be really hard to follow. So we're gonna have to open up the Steam Deck. So my Steam Deck looks a lot different. There's only a handful of people that have Steam Decks that look like this. This is a metal backplate to access the M.2 port, but still same 8 screws need to come off. And then when you open this bad boy up, it's gonna look a lot like this. So you're gonna remove this heat shield, and there are 3 screws to remove this. It's that one where I'm pointing at, one bottom here and one on the top. Once you remove that, you'll get into the main board. So the main board is you're gonna have your SD attached. You're gonna have to remove the SD card. That's an Oculink, not SD, and then remove this thermal tape right next right under it, and then right there, right below it, kind of dead center, you'll see your BIOS chip. That's the little sucker that we need to flash a new BIOS onto. On the upper left hand corner of the BIOS chip, you will notice a white dot. I'm pointing to it right here. If you can see, that is important because that's the one slot, meaning the red cable needs to be attached to that one spot, that little plug there. But before we do anything, we need to disconnect the battery. The red wire side where the ribbon cable attaches to the clip needs to attach to this spot exactly, or the clip will not work properly.
The most important thing about this clip is you want to make sure when you're plugging in this clip to your PC, you're going to want to plug it into a USB 3.0 clip. And all that has to do is with voltage. You technically could plug it in there, but more than likely, from what I can tell on the internet, you may not get enough voltage. So plug it right into the blue slot in the back of your PC. You might have it in the front of your PC, and you'll notice that the red light will be nice and bright. If it's a dim at all, that just means you're not getting enough power to it. But if it's bright enough to see in, you know, well lit room, then you know you did it correctly. Now this clip now attaches to your Steam Deck. You might get into a problem where this may not be long enough to reach your Steam Deck. And if you use an extender, make sure the extender for the USB is a 3.0 extender, because if it's not, you will not get enough data transfer and power to the clip, and so it will not work properly. So I would always highly suggest to plug it into a main port from your PC. Don't do the hassle of using extenders, because it may just make the job a little harder than it should be.
I wish there was an easier way to do this, but there isn't. It's hard to put this clip on properly, and you're gonna take some trial and error to get it done right, and it took me a while. It took me a while, even though I've done this before, but it looks like this. So if you can see that, those teeth are cut touching each one of those connectors. The red one is on that one spot that I showed you before, the little dot there. Alright, after downloading as programmer, let's go ahead and just extract it. So we're gonna right click, extract all, boom. Once we have it all extracted, we're gonna go here to CH341 drivers. Starting off with the parallel drivers, we're gonna drop down into this application right here, and we're gonna go ahead and run an install. Click install, real fast, done. Okay, back out, go into the serial drivers. Again, application right here, double click, install, perfect, done. Back out, and then we're gonna go to the actual as programmer right here, and we're gonna blow this up. And what you want to do is click on hardware, drop into CH341A, because that's the device we're using. Assuming you're able to get the clip on correctly, you click this question mark right here, and you should see this pop out. And this is basically your BIOS chip. You're going to double click that, and then press the exit button. And then right over here, you're going to go ahead and go read IC. This is going to take a while, so right now, the programmer is reading your IC chip, so do not disconnect the clip. Make sure no one knocks it off. Get your cat off the table. Make sure the power doesn't go out. You do not want to lose this. I'm not sure if it'll corrupt it even further, because if you are a person who didn't back up your BIOS like me, you need this to edit, so you cannot lose this. If you already have a clean BIOS, you technically don't need to do this. You don't need a corrupted BIOS. If you have a clean BIOS, you can actually skip this step. And there you go. That is your BIOS. So if you corrupted your BIOS, meaning you bricked your Steam Deck, you need to save this. And if you just want a spare copy and it's not a brick Steam Deck, you can go ahead and save it. So we are going to save this. Let's call it bad BIOS. Bad BIOS. and then we're going to click save. So we're going to go ahead and open up Hex Editor Neo. And if you did like me and all your files are in the same folder, I put them on the desktop. We have our known good BIOS. We're going to open that up, F7A0115. We're all using the same one. We're going to open that bad boy up. Cool. And then we're actually going to open up another file. We're going to open 2 files at the same time. We're going to open up our Steam Deck bad BIOS. If you have a clean BIOS, you should be skipping this step. Alright, if you have a clean BIOS already, you should be skipping the step, but if you want to learn how to do it, please hang out with us. So we're going to open this one as well. So now that it's open, we're going to go ahead and click view, and we're going to do this for both of them. We're going to hit columns and hit 32 so we can fill up the space right here, and we're going to do the same thing on F7, columns and 32. Cool. So next we're going to hit the search button here in the top in the center, and we're going to be looking for money sign underscore iFlash underscore BIOS image. So we're going to click find there, and it's going to take us to this number right here, 24, and that's going to be the money sign in that iFlash BIOS if you move over to right. So we're not doing anything on here, we're just clicking that so we can find a particular set of numbers, and that is right here. So 02 02 0002 2800. This is the key. These numbers right here show us where we need to delete. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna click 01, which is to the left of this stack of numbers. You see that? It's to the left, the 01. We don't need these ones, we need 01. So we're gonna click 01, and then what we're gonna do is hold down shift. We're gonna move our cursor and we're gonna scroll all the way to the top. Then while still holding down shift, we're going to click on 4D on the top, and what we're going to do is press the delete button. Perfect. So we deleted all of that. Notice that we still have 01 there. You can hit the delete button again, and now we have what we were talking about earlier, the 02 02 0002 28. That's exactly what we need to do. Okay. So next thing what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Steam Deck bad BIOS. So we're in the Steam Deck bad BIOS. It's going to look very similar to your F708. But what we're going to do in here is we're going to click search, and we're going to be searching for money sign DMI. And you're going to have to do this in the exact same order as I'm doing too. So next we're searching for money sign DMI, and you're going to get this string of numbers right here, and it's going to go from 24 44 49D and ending with, and it's going to end here with 30 38 right there. So this these set of numbers here is your BIOS serial number. Without this, you're bricked. You need to have this, so make copies, don't lose this set of numbers. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit right click. We're going to copy all of this. Okay, so we're going to go to this side. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to search for money sign DMI, and bang. So one thing you'll notice is when we're searching for this money sign DMI, we're not going to get a huge string of numbers like we did before. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. What we're going to do next is we're going to go back down to our Steam Deck bad BIOS, and it might not look the same to you, but I would double check by counting the rows. If you're using a different version of a hex editor, it'll look different from yours. That's why I advise everyone to use this one, so it looks very similar to what I'm doing. We're gonna look at the columns and rows that we finish on. So we finish on column 13, and let's count our rows down. 1 2, because we need to copy this exactly the same. 1 2 3 4 5 hold on, start over. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So we're 12 rows down, 13 columns over, and we should be at 6A416. It should be pretty much the same. 6A4160. Perfect. Yeah, it's the same. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it just like we did in the last one, meaning we're gonna count down 12. So we're gonna highlight this 24, So we know we're going to be in a 13, but we need to count our columns down now. So we're going to go, so that's 1, the 24 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I would go ahead and double check that. We're at 4160. That's where we were last time. 416068. There you go. I'm going to count just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not certain that exact placement means whether or not it's going to work or not. I'm just showing you exactly what I did. I made it picture perfect from one side to the other. And if you can't do that, or it looks different from you, you can always count your columns and rows, where you start, where you finish, and then mirror them from one side to the other. So let me repeat that again. So whatever this looks like, you're going to mirror it onto the good BIOS. All right. Why is this thing getting highlighted? So once you get it picture perfect, you're going to right click, hit paste. Boom. All right. So it should be exactly identical to the other side. So it should be 24, 44, 40D, 49, and end with 30, 38 right here in the 12 and 13 column on the 13th row down. 30, 38, 12 and 13, 24, 44, 40D, 49. Perfect. Everything is perfect. So we are technically done with the Steam Deck bad BIOS. We can go ahead and close that. We don't need to go into that anymore. Last thing we need to do to finish editing this BIOS is we're going to hit the search button again. Let's scroll to the top first. You're going to hit the search button. You're going to be looking for $, flash, IN, IMG. This one right here. I'm going to have all this listed below so that you don't have to type it in. You can just copy and paste. And you're going to click find. Cool. Once you find these FF, it should be 0000000000000 all the way over here. What you're going to do is right after the last FF at this 00 right here, you're going to go ahead and delete all of this. So you're going to highlight it and scroll all the way to the bottom. There we are. Cool. That took a long time. All right. And all we're going to do is going to hit delete. And then what we want to do is scroll back up. And we just want to make sure that we got everything. We didn't leave zeros. There it is. Okay. So no zeros. Perfect. So everything's deleted. Everything's done. And then after that, all you need to do is you're going to go hit file. You're going to hit save as. And we're going to call it the clean Steam Deck BIOS. And that's our new clean BIOS. And it's as simple as that. It's very, very simple. If you follow my exact orders, it's super simple. There is a guide online that shows you how to do this. And the problem with that guide is if you follow the certain sequences that the guy gives you, you're not going to find everything you need to be deleted, and you won't know where to put your serial number. So do it exactly how I did it. That was one of the challenging parts for me, was to figure out the sequence I could do so I can make sure I can delete everything I needed to and put everything I needed to in the correct spot. So do it just like I did it. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments below. Now that we have our edited BIOS, we can go ahead and upload it. And also, this is the same step if you did back up your BIOS. So you're going to go ahead and open file. Our new clean BIOS is right here on the desktop. And we're going to click open. And this is the same step for everyone. Whether you had to edit your BIOS or you had a backup BIOS, you're going to go to this red arrow here. You're going to click this down. You're going to click this button and you're going to go unprotect, erase, program, verify. So you're going to click this and make sure if you're on a laptop or something is battery operated or somehow someone can knock the chip off, don't. It's dangerous. All right. Make sure you have power. Make sure you're plugged in. Keep your cats away. Keep small children away. Now we're going to hit unprotect, erase, program, verify. And this is going to erase the IC chip. So if you had a bad IC chip, it's going to erase it and it's going to program it with your prior BIOS that you saved or the one we just edited. So this is going to take a while, so be patient. Oh, that took a long time. 6 minutes 49 seconds. That's actually not too bad. So that's it, guys. Now you go ahead and disconnect, and there you go. That's the BIOS flash on the AS programmer, and now we're going to put it all back together and test to see if it works. Alrighty then, assuming you did everything correctly, we are going to assemble everything back. So this assembly process is going to be different for you than it is for me, mainly because my Steam Deck is modded. We don't have thermal pads anymore. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to plug in the battery. Do not press the power button whatsoever, and then we're just going to assemble everything. So this will look different for you than it will for me, because mine, like I said, mine is modded. I'm just checking to make sure the rear buttons are making good contact. With this modded case, if you don't tighten it up well enough, you're not going to make contact with these rear buttons, even though I never really use them. But so assuming you had a different SSD plugged into your Steam Deck, I would put the original one with the Steam OS on there, just to make sure that there's no issues whatsoever. I'm sure it'll be fine regardless, but it doesn't hurt, right? That's slightly off. Okay, we're gonna close the hatch, and then we plugged it in, right? Yeah, we plugged it in. So all we're gonna do is a nice long press. You'll hear some chimes if we did everything correctly. First chime. This may take a while to boot up, guys, so be patient. If you saw the original video, you saw that it took a little longer than expected, and we definitely should wait. Just wait. Okay, so boom, we get the logo. Great. So thankfully, I really didn't want to do it again if I didn't have to, but I had to make the video. So logo's gonna pop up and it might update. So the 115 BIOS is definitely an older BIOS. So the Steam OS, once it boots, it may require an update. So just let it do its thing. If anything, you probably would want to plug it in at this point, because this thing's fully charged. Yeah, and there we go. We're back into Steam OS. No problems here. Everything is working just dandy. And there you go. That's how to fix your Steam Deck. It's pretty simple stuff, guys. It's a $13.99 part versus paying $185 to Valve. I'll pick the $13.99 part, and I've already gone through all the hurdles for you, so you don't have to deal with all that stuff. But let me say this again: back up your BIOS. Back up your BIOS, because it's not hard to edit your hex, but it's another step. And if you just back it up, it's not a big deal. I've already backed mine up. I put it on 2 different USB drives and on 2 different computers. I'm not going to lose this BIOS this time. Not because I don't want to re-edit the BIOS. It's just a waste of time. So back up your BIOS, especially if you're going to do some overclocking like me. I'm going to overclock the crap out of it. I'm going to try to get this DRAM to run at 6400 megahertz. I'm going to do it. I'm telling you, it's going to work. It's going to happen. And fortuitous, it's going to happen. But other than that, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comments below. If you haven't subbed, please hit that sub. Really appreciate it. And what else? I think that's it. But other than that, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.